Hi, and welcome to, excuse me, let me start over. Hi, and welcome to episode 28 of Girlfriends Knitting. It is August 22nd, maybe? I don't know, I'm guessing. I haven't looked at the calendar today. And I'm recording in my office at lunch, like I normally do. And I'm very excited this week to show you a few of the things that I've got going on. So let me jump right into it. First of all, thank you so much for those of you who have added your names to the group in Ravelry. We have over 350 members now. And I have a secret goal that I am trying to reach. And when we reach that goal, there will be something wonderful going on. And I'll tell you more about that as we get closer to my secret goal. So thank you all for checking out the podcast. Thank you for those wonderful ones of you who continue to stick with me every week and tell me how much you enjoy seeing what I'm knitting. It just really makes my day. So let's start off. This is going to be so out of order because as the week progressed, I just wrote down things I forgot to say last week, things that just came up. And so I'm just going in the order of the random thoughts that I had this week. But I am going to start, like I always do, with an FO. Now, if you're on Plurk, you saw this FO this morning because I wore it to work this morning. It is my Gemini, and I love it. And it looks great on me. But the cotton does stretch. And when I blocked it and let it air dry, and so it didn't shrink up any. I didn't put it in the dryer or anything like that. So therefore, the top stretched out immensely. It didn't stretch out in length as much as I was expecting it to, or width. So the ease around is pretty much right on the money. I should have, and now from watching the Fat Squirrel Speaks podcast, y'all should watch if you are not, especially if you're a larger lady like I am. She talks about fit in some of her back episodes. I highly recommend it. Anyway, I should have knit a different size to here than from here down because I'm kind of pear-shaped. I remind myself of those little old ladies in the cartoons that they used to draw where they had a tiny little head and big round middle and then tiny little bitty feet. That's kind of my shape. Hopefully the running will help with that, but we'll see. Anyway, the top stretched out. If I would have knit the top in a large or a medium, and then knit the bottom in the large or extra large, so a size or two smaller on the top than on the bottom, I think it would have worked much better for me. But I'm going to go home, wash it, throw it in the dryer, see if I can get it to shrink up a little bit. I think it'll be great. Let me tell you some details. And while I tell you some details, I will try to insert some pictures of me in this morning. If you keep seeing my face, that means I wasn't able to get the pictures inserted. So anyway, it is Cascade Ultra Prima, there's no R in there, Ultra Prima it's a cotton, China Pink is the colorway, and I knit it on a US size 5. No clue what that millimeter is right now. Sorry, guys. So that color's a little bit more washed out right now with the overhead lights than what it is in real life. It's a little bit of a darker pink in real life. So I'm very excited about this. So thank you. I knit that for the Stockinette Zombies. For those of you who've been with me from the beginning, you know this is not my first garment. I actually began the podcast, with my first garment, which was a sweater and some horribly clown-colored acrylic. I liked the colors, I didn't like the acrylic. Let me clarify that. I like clown colors. I like bright and rainbowy, but everything about the sweater worked. The fit, first of all, I began with a pieced garment. And for those of you who have watched the Stockinette Zombies, which is what this is the Stockinette Zombie cow, you know that Megan said you should not begin with pieced garment. But Megan hadn't told me that before I made this. So, it's not my actual first garment. But I'm going to pretend it is, because it's the first one that's worked. So, very excited. It's the Gemini. It's the Stockinette Zombies Knit Along. I'm not sure who the pattern is by right now. I don't have it in front of me. So I will get pictures up in the Gemini cowl on Stockinette Zombies. And I'm very excited about that. It'll be really nice to wear here to work, because it's not going to get cold very fast here in North Mississippi. So I'll be able to wear it for quite a while. So there is my finished object. Some things going on are going to be my whips, because I really only have one whip that I have worked on other than the Gemini sweater, because I have spent all the rest of my time knitting on the Gemini sweater. So this is what I'm calling Violets for Daisy. It's going to be one of those episodes, people. Violets for Stacy. I don't know who Daisy is. It looks like daisies. I did change the pattern up a little bit. I did a short row heel. The pattern calls for an afterthought heel. I didn't want to come back and worry with an afterthought heel. So I've put in afterthought heels before, but I just didn't feel like worrying with it. And she wanted a shorter cuff, so I took out some of the stocking knit at the top. I also don't like the way the ribbing is kind of frilling out, so I think I'm going to rip back the ribbing and re-knit it. And even though it'll be knit in the opposite direction, I think it'll look better than the little frilly looking knitting at the top right now. So this is my first color work. And I'm actually really liking how it's going. The floats aren't too tight. I think it's going well. Details. I do have details somewhere. It's The Fields of Flowers by Sarah Bordelon. She may say her name differently. That's how this little Cajun girl says that name. We say Bordelon. So that's, you see that how there's some stocking knit in the blue at the top of the sock? Stacy wanted a shorter cuff, shorter foot leg, top of the sock. So I have removed that. So these are cuffed down. But I wouldn't say, like Sock the Vote, I wouldn't say that I'm in the sock down. One of those days. I wouldn't say I'm in the cuff down party. I learned how to do toe up from the wonderful Laura Linneman. And that was the first sock knitting I ever did. And I just gravitate back. And asking ladies at knit night and things like that, I tend to find that most people gravitate towards what they learn first. So if they learned toe up first, they tend to prefer it. If they learned cuff down first, they tend to prefer it. Not a hard and fast rule, obviously, but that's in my unscientific research. That's what I found. Okay, so that is my actual only other whip. Everything else that I'm working on, I hadn't touched in a week, so there's no difference there. But other things going on. First of all, I met the wonderful Nicole, who is Blue Goose Farms, as part of the LoKAL by Amy Beth, the Fat Squirrel Speaks, her LoKAL knit along. So it's the local yarn. Well, Nicole is somebody who literally lives on the same street as me, but I live on one side of the highway, she lives on the other. It's only about a 2-mile difference, but because of the difference in the highway, different side of the highway, our street names are different. And knitting friends had told me, you need to meet Nicole. She lives just right down the street from you. So I contacted her and I said, we need to meet. And I would love it if you could let me buy some fiber from you, because she has a farm. And she said, sure, I would love it. Oh my gosh. The nicest lady ever. Super sweet. Her and her husband both. I went out there. I got to meet all their little goats, all their little sheep. I brought my spinning wheel. She showed me how to process the fiber, how to comb the fiber, how to spin the fiber. I even got to watch her for a few seconds actually shearing one of the goats. I was in love. I told her anytime she wants me to come and help her, call. I'm there. I had a blast. We spent most of the afternoon there at the farm. It was so much fun. So thank you so much, Nicole. And I'm so glad, too, for Amy Beth for putting this idea out there, which really prompted me to do something I needed and would have enjoyed doing anyway. And so I'm very glad I did that. So somewhere along in here, you're going to see the lovely little goat whose fleece I bought. Her name is Eloise. And I have some wool combs coming from Lois at Bountiful. And so sometime this weekend, little Miss Eloise will be getting a bath, her fleece, will be getting a bath, and then combed and spun and made into something beautiful. I'm not sure. My goal is to spin the fiber for the LoKAL. I know it's a knit-along, but I'm breaking all the rules. If I don't get a prize, I don't get a prize. I don't care. This was fun. So that's what I'm doing. If I am also able to knit something out of this wonderful fiber in time for the LoKAL, I will. But if I don't, I don't. My goal, that's not my goal. My goal is to get it spun. And from there, then I'll knit it into something at some point. So I'm very excited. So thank you, Lois at Bountiful, for sending me the wool combs. Of course, I bought them from her, but I'm so excited. I should be getting them soon. And for the wonderful Nicole for our awesome day at the farm. And then for Amy Beth for putting this idea out there into the world. What a wonderful idea. So that's what's been going on that I forgot to tell you about last week because I did it 2 weekends ago that I went to the farm. Next, this past weekend, I went to Dallas. So my parents and my brother and his family live in Dallas now. This is not where we are from. It's a wonderful place, but we're actually from South Louisiana. But they have moved to Dallas for various reasons. So I went to visit. Amy and I both went out there to visit and had a wonderful time. And I spent some time knitting with my mom, which is always lots of fun. And I took the Gemini. It's what went everywhere with me, is the Gemini, because it was just that stockinette in the round over and over and over. I even found I can knit in a movie. Born Legacy. You can knit right through it. That, and I wasn't real thrilled with the movie either, but that's another topic for another time. So we did a lot of knitting, and Mom is still working on her color affection because she has various other things to do, like play with grandsons and go fishing, and she's building a house, but nothing important. So I'm going to put a picture Mom sent me of her color affection shawl. Don't forget, we have been doing a summer-long color affection shawl knit-along, and it's about a month from being over. We're going to wrap it up on September 18th. I have some wonderful prizes. I showed you one of the newest ones I got in last week, and so I'm really looking forward. We have about 25 color affections in the prize thread already. So if you've been knitting a color affection here recently, please be sure that you go and put it in the prize thread. I think there's a few other color affection knit-alongs. Everybody's knitting it. So feel free to double dip. If you've used your color affection in another knit-along, as long as it's okay with them, it's okay with me if you put it in mine. I love the double dipping. I'm all about that. So that's one of our knit-alongs. Also, we have the Racing Heart Socks knit-along, which is going to be wrapping up here at the end of the month. And I've got some wonderful prizes from Plover Bird to give away for that. So if you've knit the Racing Heart Socks, that is the American Heart Association charity project that we've been working on, please be sure to post those in the prize thread. And I will get some prizes drawn for that here at the end of the month. Okay, so I'm trying to see what all I have talked about. Oh, speaking of finished objects, check out Pretty She's pretty nitty on our Rav group. Check out her Hello Kitty hat. So freaking cute. I love looking at the members' finished objects. I get so inspired. Oh my gosh, you have to check out that Hello Kitty hat. She just kind of put this here and that there and tweaks in various patterns to make it her own, and so adorable. Go check it out. I'll probably be casting one on for my own little 2-year-old niece here pretty soon. Speaking of nieces and nephews, the reason I went to Dallas was because my 8-year-old nephew was having a birthday. What do you buy an 8-year-old boy for his birthday? His parents bought him a guitar and guitar lessons. He's nerdy. I love him. He's just like me. That to me, nerd's a good thing, so don't think I'm insulting my nephew. My parents bought him all kind of cowboy stuff, a hat, and he's got boots, and he's got a shirt, and the whole thing, because he's all about being out on the farm. I'm clueless. I showed up, I went to his birthday, I took him out to dinner, we played, we had a great time. I still haven't got him a present though. I don't know what to get an 8-year-old boy. And of course asking him is useless. I don't know. So anyway, maybe he's just going to get a visit from his aunt for his birthday. I don't know. But if anybody has any ideas for what to get an 8-year-old boy, I don't have kids. I love kids and I love my niece and nephew, but I like the fact they can go home too. So I've never really desired any of my own, much to my mother's chagrin. So I have no idea what to get an 8-year-old boy. Help, please. Okay, enough of that. 2 things that I have signed up for that I'm so excited about. First of all, my local knitting guild, it's the Memphis Knitting Guild, is got a workshop with Margaret Radcliff coming up. And I signed up for both days. It's 4 classes, 2 one day, 2 Saturday, 2 Sunday, in November. I'll tell you more about it as it happens, and I may or may not have homework to do before. I don't know. We'll find out more details as they get closer. I'm just excited. So that's one thing I signed up for. I also signed up for the SSK lottery. And so that's the Super Summer Knit Together, which is in Nashville next July. That's hosted by Leslie and Laura and Karen, though Karen's not hosting it this year because of the wedding. So that's going on, and we'll find out in a few weeks who got in based on the lottery. So I'm excited. Oh, fingers crossed. I'll be happy if for those who got in if I don't get in, but I'll be disappointed that I didn't get in. So we'll see. And let's see what else is going on. I just got a text message from Dawn Wolf. Y'all know who Dawn Wolf is. I'm going to talk about her more in a minute. And she got my package. Dawn and I have been emailing back and forth all morning because I sent her a few little goodies. It was not a big deal. I sent her a few little goodies because her and I have a dog that looks exactly the same, but I have a boy dog and she has a girl dog. So I tease my boy dog that he has a girlfriend in California. Her little girl dog. But anyway, I don't have kids, so I baby my dogs. So anyway, I've said that a lot today. I just got a text that says she got the package because it had been lost in the mail, and yay, I'm so excited. But bringing up Dawn, watching her podcasts, as you all should be, the El Paso Children's Hospital is in need for preemie blankets, and it's something very close to Dawn's heart. I'll let you watch the podcast and let her tell you about that. But 3 Stitches, another podcast, is collecting these preemie blankets for the Children's Hospital, and they need to be 30 inches by 30 inches. I put a thread on the Ravelry group about all the details, and so you can post the blanket info to the 3 Stitches podcast and mail them the blanket. You can also post the info to the Wolf Farms podcast, and I'm going to be supporting Dawn because I heard about it through her, so I don't want to you tell them that I told you about it. I want you to tell them that Dawn told you about it. Does that make sense? Since I heard about it because of her, not because of the 3 Stitches. Anyway, because one of the prizes is the podcaster that recruits the most people to knit blankets. So I'm recruiting for Dawn. Got it? Makes sense? Okay, cool. Anyway, it's something that's very near and dear to my heart, is the preemies, because of my significant other who's a social worker. And so I knit stuff for the preemies that she takes care of at the hospital here. And so that's just something that I've always been very supportive of. So I want to definitely do that and support Dawn and the 3 stitches in that for the El Paso Children's Hospital. And always check with your local hospitals too, because I mean, just the El Paso Children's Hospital is not the only one that needs stuff. They love knitted hats, they love knitted blankets, but a lot of times you ought to ask them first, not because they don't want the stuff, but because they have certain requirements. It might have to be a natural fiber, it might have to be an acrylic fiber. Different hospitals ask for different stuff, so always check with them first before you start knitting it, because then they may or not be able to accept it. Anyway, so I wanted to mention that. Last but not least, exercising. She has told me how to say her name, and it won't stick in my head. Gemini Dragon. I'm sorry, sweetie, if I'm saying it wrong again. She has just been flying with this Couch to 5K thing. I'm so super proud of her, and she's really been inspiring me. She keeps saying I'm inspiring her, but no, it's the other way around. Because I've had such a hard time getting back on the wagon after being out a week because of my ankle and my knee. But I ran this weekend when I was in Dallas. Oh my gosh, after having taken that break, it is so hard. I could barely get the mileage that I wanted to do done. So it's hard, and I've got to get back out there and get doing it again, and I've not been very successful at it. But I did notice in the Ravelry group that she has picked a race. And the only reason I'm mentioning that to y'all is because my race is October 13th. Hers is the same day. So, Miss Dragon, I'm going to say that because I can't say the first part. This time mine is you too, by the way, honey. 7 weeks, 2 days, 20 hours, 2 minutes, 55 seconds until I'm doing the color run. 5K. Ah! I'm scared. Okay. That's all. Love you guys. Have a great week. See you later. Oh, sorry about how I hit the computer and it pickled. Sorry. See you next week.